Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. I am so grateful to have you, so welcome. Now this is part of the series that I have only done one on so far, of the missing persons. I have titled it Bring Them Home. Now I chose this case because I found, you know, those papers that you get in the mail that are full of coupons and deals and all that? Well, I saw this little bitty ad, this ad right here in the bottom of one of those weekly couponing pages. It drew my attention. Now, I typically never look at those and I pay no attention. They honestly go straight into the trash. So it somehow just caught my eye. So this is what I am going to be covering today. There is not a lot of information known. There's not a lot of evidence. However, there is enough information to have this case solved, but I will get into that later. So let's just get started. This is on Matthew Wade Crocker. He was born February the 12th, 1983 in Van Buren, Arkansas. Now this was in the month of June in 1983, so it's summertime, you know, tank tops, shorts. I mentioned that because there is some information later. There was a carnival in town in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Now Fort Smith is about 10 to 15 minutes from Van Buren, Arkansas. I am not from that area, but that is just what the maps show me. It could have been different in 1983. I know 36 years, a lot can change. Now, apparently a friend of the Crocker family had introduced the mother of Matthew to this carnival worker known as Kathy Johnson. Now, it was said that Matthew's mother needed help with childcare in the home with her 3 kids. She had 2 kids and then Matthew. There was one article that stated that the father of Matthew was in jail. Now that was only one article, so don't put much in it, but it could explain the reason as to why Matthew's mother needed help with the child care. Now I keep calling them Matthew's mother and Matthew's father. That's because it is never released on the names of his parents. No family members. That friend that introduced Kathy to the Crocker family, there was no information released on any of them. The only people that are known here in this case are Matthew and Kathy. So this friend suggested again that Matthew's mother bring this carnival worker, this stranger, into their home to help with childcare. So Matthew's mother did. On the night of June the 9th, 1983, the family allegedly had a party in their home that was involving alcohol. Now I don't know if anything else was involved, any drugs or anything like that. Don't know if they were intoxicated or just, you know, having a good time, but that was mentioned in the article, and I felt like it was possibly a good piece of evidence that needed to be known. Now, on that night, Matthew was being a typical 4-month-old baby. He was crying and fussy, and apparently Kathy told Matthew's mother, "Don't worry about it. I got this. You relax. I'll take care of him." So Matthew's mother went to bed. Unfortunately, it wasn't until the next morning that Matthew's mother woke up and found that Matthew and Kathy were both gone. They just disappeared. Now, the articles that I have found do not have any information on if there were any evidence, fingerprints, DNA, anything left behind in the home. They didn't put out what Matthew was last wearing, what Kathy was last wearing. So all of that is unknown. The only thing that was known is that Matthew's mother woke up and they were gone. Now, it is known that Kathy had taken the family vehicle as their getaway car. It was a 1973 Chevy Vega, unknown in color. Now, this was also again in 1983. Now, it wasn't until 1984 that the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children was founded. So unfortunately, Matthew's case kind of happened at the wrong time. It wasn't until recently that he was added to the list and also to Charlie's project. It's not known the time frame of the disappearance. It was just that the mother went to bed. Next morning she woke up and they were gone. It doesn't say what time she went to bed. It doesn't say what time she woke up. There is no information known on that or has not been released by the investigating department. Now, FBI has gotten involved. I don't know if any other departments have gotten involved. I just know that the sketch composite was done by the FBI. So much information is unknown. So the time frame isn't known, what Matthew was last wearing, what Kathy was last wearing. It's all up in the air. Now, the getaway car was found in Sallisaw, Oklahoma, which per the maps, again, things can change in 36 years, but on today's investigation, it is about 30 miles away from, I do believe, Van Buren and not Fort Smith. That's what I was led to believe. Again, on the investigations, why, again, this is so frustrating, but it's not, it hasn't been released, or it is not known as to why it was abandoned there. Was she meeting someone? Was she doing an illegal adoption? Did she live there? Was she trying to catch a bus? Nothing was known. We don't know if the vehicle was searched for fingerprints, DNA, any evidence, or if the surrounding area was searched. Now, I would think that even in 1983, the cops, they're not stupid. They would surely know to investigate these things. With the FBI being involved, I don't know when they got involved. I think it was later, but they would know to search these areas. And it seems like with this new DNA technology that's coming along, and with the genealogy reports and ancestry, it seems like they could rerun any DNA that they could gather in these reports and see if they could now locate who this Kathy person is. But I don't know if they've done any of that. I just know that this is still an open case, and it is a cold case. There's not any additional information that has been known. It is believed that Kathy and Matthew was traveling through Utah to California, raising him as her own. Now, it was mentioned that she had 2 children previously that had died shortly after death. Now, does that mean shortly after death, a few years, a few months, a few weeks, a few days, a few hours? Were they 4 months old and she felt like she deserved Matthew to be her own child? I don't know. We don't know any. I feel that if you lose 2 children, that something is wrong. I mean, that could have been something she just told the family, but she was somewhat specific. She said that they, in 1983, would have been 9 years old and 6 years old had they lived. But in my opinion, if this stranger that I am bringing into my house tells me that they had lost 2 children previously, I would definitely be questioning how. What happened? And that would obviously determine if I let them near my children or not. Now, since Matthew was 4 months old when he was abducted, it's likely he doesn't know. He believes this woman is his mother, and that's it. He wouldn't know any different. He wouldn't know that she's not his real mother, that there is another family that's out there looking for him. It's just crazy. I couldn't even imagine. So here comes the important part. The reason why I feel this case is solvable. We're going to get into the description of Kathy and Matthew. Now, I will be reading this because I want to make sure I get it correct. So, Kathy was described as a Caucasian female, 26 years of age, 5 foot 4 inches, blonde hair. And I do believe I read somewhere brown eyes. And she may be going by the first name of Judy. Don't know how that came about, but Judy and Kathy, that's the names that were released. There's no height or weight known for Kathy, no last thing she was wearing. So the next bit of information is the most descriptive information, so pay close attention. She, as in Kathy, had a chipped or decaying front tooth, a 6 to 7 inch scar on her left shoulder blade, a puncture scar 6 to 8 inches above her right knee, a tattoo of a green and yellow star or starburst on the left side of her chest, a tattoo of a unicorn on her left upper arm, and a long scar on the back of her right shoulder, and a tattoo on her upper right arm with the name Kathy and a ribbon above it. Now, with that information, in my experience with people having someone's name on their body is not their name. It is named of a loved one, typically deceased, or their children. Maybe one of those children that she said that she had was named Kathy. Most people do not get their own names tattooed on themselves, especially decorative. So that's why I feel that her name is not Kathy. I don't know how they came about with the name of Judy. There may be some information that they haven't released yet. And I don't understand why. It seems like the more information you put out there, the more information, or the more likely that this case would be solved. It seems like, based on the scarring, she had a rough life. She was only 26, or believed to be 26 years old, and she had what appeared to be a puncture wound. Did that mean a stab wound? And she had like a 6 to 7 inch scar on her left shoulder blade and another long scar on her right shoulder blade. She had a rough life based on that scarring. Now, on to Matthew. Again, Matthew was 4 months old at the time of his abduction. I feel that his height and weight aren't relevant in this. He did have brown hair and brown eyes. He would be 36 years old. Now, you can fabricate some things, like fabricate a new birth certificate, social security, all that information, maybe to say that he was a little bit older, a little bit younger, so in the 30 range, mid to early 30s. So now here's where his most important information comes. He was born with a medical condition. I'm not going to say the medical term because I will more than likely get it wrong. But he was born with a concave chest, or a sunken chest, as it's also known, meaning that his chest in the center typically was sunken in. Now, this type of medical condition does require surgery for repair. There are as I was looking it up anyway, there are a few known exercises that you can at least improve it, but it's more than likely not fully. So you would likely have to have surgery to repair this. Now, you don't, I guess, technically have to repair it, but I feel with the symptoms that this medical condition brought about, I feel like it would be in the parent's best interest, or the abductor's best interest, if she's raising him as her own, to have it repaired. Because the symptoms included shortness of breath, fatigue, inability to exercise, chest pain, and I wouldn't want my own child to go through that. If there was a way to fix his pain, I would definitely do what I could to have that fixed. Now, it is unknown if the police have kind of looked into this medical condition, into the repairs, into the pediatricians or the schools to see if there are children with this concave chest that may be matching this description of Matthew. It's not rare, it's slightly common, I guess you would say. 1 in 1,000 children have been diagnosed with this, and it's a total of about, I think, 200,000 cases in the US. So it's kind of large, but I feel that if you break it down to being only male, that could help a little bit. If you could break it down to only or if you could go through maybe the list of children that have had this repaired. But then again, did he have it repaired early in life, when he was a teenager, or when he was adult? Typically, what I have seen online based on my research, now I am no medical professional, but most of them are done later or earlier in life, like a tween, I guess you would say. But I don't know on that. I mean, I'm sure there's all aspects of that taking place. It's also unknown if the police department have questioned the other carnival workers, how well they knew Kathy, if this Kathy person actually existed, if maybe she was a temporary worker or a runaway that maybe the carnival took in and helped, provided a job, what their next stop was on the routes. None of it is known. I mean, I'm likely certain that with her going to Oklahoma, with the fair still being in town, she completely gave up the carnival gig. I feel that she got her hands on this baby and wanted to make her own life, because it's not really something that you can just go back to your co-workers at the carnival and be like, hey, what's up? This is my 4-month-old baby that I just gave birth to. That's not gonna happen. No, I know that the carnival group is a closely knit group, but I feel that with the abduction of a child, I feel that that would be a little bit more of a crime, that they would not keep their mouth shut on this. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, maybe that's why that this case hasn't been solved yet. Maybe someone was hiding her or helping her run. She just wanted a baby so badly, or maybe she sold the baby into the black market. Just so many things unknown here. Now, there isn't a lot of information, actually no information out there located on the family by the search. I don't know the parents. Well, I have an inkling on at least the father's name. I did come across a Facebook post in which one of the sisters to Matthew's father had posted on Facebook, so I kind of have possibly his name and his sister's name, but I'm not going to release that. I don't have permission to do so. But this post did mention that they understand that he has his own life now. He is 36 years old. They aren't wanting, obviously, to bring him back home. They're just wanting to know that he has he has a good life. He's okay. He's alive. They just want that information, maybe to meet him, see the man that he has grown up to be. I mean, whose family would not want to see that? Now I would kind of like to get into some of the theories. This is the part that I mean no ill will toward the family or anyone involved in this. These are all assumptions. None of it is facts, none of it is known. If it was known, this case would be solved. But these are just assumptions that others have came up with, and I will let you know on my most believed assumption here, or theory. Now, it is questioned that the carnival lady even existed, that this friend may not have existed, but if he did, that he and the family were working together and either were trying to cover up an accident, maybe an accidental death, or cover up a black market adoption. I don't know. Again, all speculation. But the issue with that is most people are questioning, why in the heck would you bring a stranger into your home to be around your kids, to help you watch your kid, to supposedly watch your kids? It's questioned as to how they knew all of this distinctive information on her tattoos and her scars, but no information on her background. Now, I would say that this did occur in the summer months of June, and in the South it does get relatively warm. So maybe she had a low-cut tank top and shorts. I mean, that could be the case here. That way you could see all of the visible tattoos on her shoulders and the scars along with the one on her knee or above her knee. The reason for this theory, I do believe, is because the family brought a stranger into their house. Now, I know 1983 was a different time. I was born the following year, and I know that my parents would not have brought a complete stranger into their house to be around their 3 children without knowing more information. Now, maybe they do know more information, it just has not been released. Now, what also hasn't been released is this friend that introduced Kathy to the family. Who is he? Has he been questioned? Surely he's been questioned. He is the one that met Kathy. How come he doesn't have any more information than what is out there on this Kathy? I mean, do you automatically just meet someone at the carnival, be like, hey, I'm going to introduce you to my friend here that needs help with her childcare? That's just not something that it went some way, and I don't quite know how. And why was he so persuasive to get Kathy, or to get the Crocker family to bring Kathy into their home? What was going on here? Again, that's why it was kind of theorized that maybe either he had something to do with the abduction or that Kathy doesn't exist. And that could be why maybe the family wasn't looking for Matthew as hard as it seems. I mean, again, this was 1983, before the internet, how you can get things out there now. You also have to understand that it takes a lot of money to search for missing persons. Now, maybe this family didn't have that type of money that they needed to keep the name and the face and the information out there. Again, it was before the internet and how you could get free advertising. To go along with maybe the family not having money and not searching for him as much, maybe they felt that this person knew someone or was the person that could provide more medical care for Matthew than they could. Like I said, it required surgery. Maybe they didn't have the money for the surgery. Again, that is all assumption, speculative. None of it is facts. It's just what's going around in these articles. So there's that theory. That's number 1. Now, like I had stated earlier, is that Kathy had at one point mentioned that she previously had 2 children that died shortly after death, and in 1983 they would have been 9 years old and 6 years old, I do believe. It's unknown as to how they died, kind of questionable as to why these parents let this stranger that previously had lost her 2 children and not know why. If I just met someone and they told me that they had lost their children, I would definitely be asking questions before I let them, especially, be alone with my children. I mean, you don't know, maybe she ended up killing her 2 children and why they weren't around. I mean, at 9 years old and she was claimed to be 26, that means that she had her first child at 17 years old. That is, I mean, it's obviously doable. There are teenage mothers out there, but it's hard. It is difficult raising children. Now, the third theory, which is the one that I most believe, is that maybe she did lose these children either by natural causes or accident, or maybe they were taken away from her and she wanted her own kid. And she is alone with this child what better opportunity? The child is only going to grow up to know you as their parent. This also is the theory that the police also believe. They believe that she took Matthew to raise as her own child, which is also the most positive because that would mean Matthew is still alive. I feel that Matthew is still out there. He just doesn't know his true identity. Likely at this point, he would have his own family, his own children, his own wife, and maybe one of them or him himself or his children will be searching the internet and somehow come across this video or an ad or something that would be like, hey, that looks like me or my husband or my dad. Maybe I should look into this a little bit more. And then hear the description of Kathy and the many tattoos and scars that she had and the concave chest. There is so much information that I feel could solve this case. It's just getting it to the right person. If you know someone that has the description of Kathy with the tattoos and the scars, now I know that these days you can get scar reduction, you can get tattoo removal, and you can obviously have your front chipped tooth fixed. But she at one point had these descriptive markings on her body. Someone knows this Kathy, or Judy, whichever one she goes by. They know that maybe this Kathy had a son that had medical issues, such as a concave chest. Maybe he had the surgery, maybe he didn't. Someone knows something. It's just getting them to speak out. But that is it. That is all that's known on this case. But like I said, it may not be a lot of information based on the physical evidence. However, the description and the information known about Kathy and Matthew, I feel like it is enough to bring this case to a close and get answers. So again, if you guys know any information on this case, contact the authorities. I will leave the number down below. On any information, you can do anonymous tip with the anonymous tip line. You can call the toll-free hotline at 1-800-THE-LOST. And that is the people that did the Have You Seen Me ad that I saw in the papers. Most of the articles that I have read said that she had blonde hair. Now, even this article or this ad right here said that she had light brown. I could see in the composite sketch that her hair was not blonde. I mean, typically when you draw it, it wouldn't be so dark and heavy. That one kind of has been thrown back and forth, her having blonde hair and brown hair. So maybe it was a dark, dirty blonde, or maybe it was a light brown. So based on this Have You Seen Me ad, it was light brown. So that is all I have for you guys on this video and on this case. If you guys have any additional information, please reach out to the authorities and let someone know. Just speak out. Do your own research on the case if you would like to find more information. Maybe you're questioning, did I know this person? Just, research it. Again, there's not a lot out there, so I hope you can find more information. If you do find more information, feel free to let me know. If you are of the family, again, like I said, I mean no ill will towards you. The theories were not mine. They were just things that were going on around the internet. If there is more information that you would like to for me to do an update on, leave that in the comments below. I would like to thank you guys for joining me, and I hope that you and I together can bring these missing persons cases to a close, and hopefully a happy ending for all, except the abductor, obviously. But I will see you guys next time.